pitching of cities and of countries. The first one would be an Asian city, the beautiful Yokohama. That is together, by the way, with Tokyo ranked incredibly high. They're ranked in the top 20, very high rankings as well. Of course, it's ranked as the top ecosystem or cluster in Japan of innovation, the fifth one in Asia, and the third one in East Asia. So with us today is Nikolai that will tell us a little bit about what's going on in the city of Yokohama. And yeah, just give us a little bit of a brief about why we should consider arriving to Yokohama and maybe starting our own startup there. Who knows? So Nikolai, thanks a lot for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Eli, for the opportunity. And I'm happy to talk to you all today. And I'm really excited also after this to take a look through the whole report and just look through all the amazing insights that are absolutely surely contained within. And we've seen just a brief bit of that. So let me share my screen here, because I'd like to talk to you today, as Eli said, about the Yokohama ecosystem and kind of tell you what makes it unique and what makes it maybe attractive, and hopefully, garner your interest, and we can talk more about that. But I also want to talk about something that, might have popped into your head as you were looking through Eli's slides, and if you looked through the whole report. So if you look, as Eli mentioned, you looked through the report and you notice that there is in the top 20 cities ranking, and in the top rankings across the report, there's the Tokyo Yokohama area listed as sort of one of the cities that is ranked, or the areas, ecosystems that is ranked. And I wanted to talk about why the Tokyo Yokohama area is called that before I jump into what makes Yokohama unique specifically. So this is sort of the nitty-gritty thing about how Japan is set up and as a country, and how the cities are sort of classified within it. Tokyo is actually often referred to as a city, but it is officially known and governed, sort of in terms of its local government, as a prefecture, essentially, or more specifically, a metropolitan prefecture. It's a really unique thing within Japan. So, I mean, in all respects, Tokyo is a city. We refer to it as that internationally. It is a city. But it's also important to recognize, I think, that Tokyo is also an area. And there's many sort of different things that you could be referring to when you say Tokyo. And actually, the Tokyo metropolitan area is a wider berth than even that sort of prefectural thing that I mentioned. And that includes Kanagawa Prefecture, and I believe parts of Saitama, Chiba, Tochigi, Ibaraki, Gunma, all these other places in Japan that are sort of nearby get lumped into the Tokyo metropolitan area. And Yokohama is one of those cities that is a part of the Tokyo metropolitan area. And so we are actually very happy to be working with StartupBlink to raise awareness about Yokohama on the global ecosystem. And I also wanted to talk about why Yokohama deserves to be up there with Tokyo. So if we take a closer look, you can see that this is sort of a map of Japan, and in that zoomed in portion, Yokohama is the red star and Tokyo is just above it on the map. And you can see some of those other sort of cities and areas that I mentioned just around it. Yokohama is actually the second, if we assume that Tokyo is a city, like I mentioned, it is obviously the first in terms of population. Yokohama is the second largest city in that case in population. So nothing to sneeze at. Yokohama is a very, very large city on its own, and it is very, very close to Tokyo, which means actually that by being in Yokohama, you gain access to the center of Tokyo, you gain access to the Tokyo markets very quickly, and the international airports as well. So Yokohama actually, by being close to Tokyo, by being part of this ecosystem, gains some benefits. And but why would companies want to come to Yokohama specifically and not sort of the central Tokyo area? Well, I think that one thing that's very important is that, let's see if there we go. That Yokohama is a very, very beautiful city. It's right on the port. And it is designed in such a way that you can live, work, and play all in the same area. It is a waterfront port city. It has had historically and accessed internationally, sort of one of the first cities in Japan that had a lot of access internationally. So it's a very welcoming place for foreigners, a very accepting place of new ideas. I think the first beer in Japan actually came through Yokohama, as well as ice cream and newspapers. But that's just sort of a fun fact. More granularly, there are a lot of international schools, a lot of support for international people and cultures in Yokohama. And also importantly, the rent is a lot cheaper on average than Tokyo in the center, but you still have that sort of 30-minute access into the center of Tokyo. So it is, a part of the Tokyo ecosystem, but it's a little bit affordable also, which can be a benefit for startups as they're getting their feet under them in the Japanese market. Taking a look sort of at the recent developments in the innovation ecosystem in Yokohama, you can see this is a sort of a busy slide, but this is the waterfront district, one of Yokohama's fastest growing districts. And you see all these large international companies and Japanese companies as well that have moved into the area to open up R&D centers and headquarters, and they're driving a lot of the innovation and new ideas, and other companies are flocking to join as well. So we've seen a lot of activity in this area. And I mean, more activity is coming. There's a lot of centers that are being developed and constructed, and there's more happening, and there's more spaces being developed for open innovation, for collaborating with larger companies. And so what drives this sort of continued growth? I think that a lot of it comes from the new talent that's entering the Yokohama pipeline. There are 26 universities in that area in Yokohama, and 9 of them specifically focus on STEM research, STEM, science and mathematics. So you have a lot of engineers that are entering the workforce and create, with these new ideas, new technologies, and ready to work at larger companies and ready to start their own startups. So you're seeing a lot of activity in that sense. But that's sort of a natural feedback loop that's happened as a result of having these universities and these talent in Yokohama. But Yokohama has actually been putting a lot of conscious effort into developing its ecosystem as well, especially over the last few years. So you can see sort of a timeline. Just since 2019, a lot of effort and a lot of activity has gone into the me sort of working as a I guess I didn't mention this. I work for the City of Yokohama's Americas office. So we are one of the sort of an offshoot of the Yokohama local government. And part of our work has been to expand the ecosystem and work to do that. And there's been a lot of activity. I mean, I could go on. There's the Yokohama Future Organization, which is a consortium of large companies in Yokohama that is dedicated and driven to increase innovation, generate new markets, and sort of create a model city for the future. There are accelerator programs. There's if you looked at the StartupBlink website, we put a lot of effort into cataloging Yokohama startups in a way that you won't be able to see anywhere else. A lot of the information is in Japanese, but we have worked with StartupBlink to provide that to you in English. So please take a look at the StartupBlink website for more information on that. And I'd just like to say last thing that our office, as I mentioned, is one of the Yokohama's international offices. We're located in New York, but we sort of do outreach to all of North America, South America. So, and as a offshoot of the local government, we're a nonprofit. So we work with you for free. If you're interested at all in the Japanese market, Yokohama or not, we can talk to you about what your goals are, if Yokohama would be a good fit for you, and kind of talk about what you need and what Yokohama could offer you. So that's a quick overview of Yokohama, why it's included as Tokyo Yokohama area in the StartupBlink report. And I'm very excited to read the rest of the report and to hear from the rest of the ecosystem.